Welcome to Sociology Vibes, where we simplify challenging ideas into easy to understand insights. Today, our focus is on the sociological explanation of genocide, one of the key concepts that reflect race and ethnic relations in the United States, or what we call intergroup relations. In sociology, when we talk about intergroup relations, we're talking about how racial and ethnic groups relate to one another, both historically and in contemporary society, with an emphasis on patterns of power, privilege, and social status. The term intergroup relations can sound neutral, but in reality, most of these patterns involve a power imbalance where a dominant group controls, marginalizes, or exploits a minority group. These patterns aren't just about individual behavior. They're built into history, culture, and the social structure of society. Genocide is the systematic annihilation or mass murder of a targeted minority group by the dominant group. Genocide is the most extreme form of intergroup oppression. It occurs when a dominant group attempts to destroy or annihilate a minority group either through intentional violence or through actions and policies that lead to the group's elimination. In some cases, this means intentional mass killing. In others, it includes forced removal, starvation, or exposure to disease that causes mass death and cultural erasure. In American history, this happened to indigenous peoples. Entire tribes were wiped out through warfare, forced removal, and exposure to new diseases brought by Europeans. Many deaths occurred because indigenous peoples had no immunity to these diseases, such as smallpox and measles, while others resulted from deliberate acts of violence and displacement. Together, these destroyed indigenous cultures, and land was seized by European settlements. Genocide is not a historical reality. Mass killings still occur in contemporary societies. In Sudan, entire communities have been attacked and forced to flee from their homes. In Myanmar, a Muslim minority group has faced violence and displacement. There's ongoing debate whether what's happening in places like Palestine and Ukraine meets the definition of genocide. Some human rights groups believe it does, while others say it's still being investigated. Both remind us that the threat of genocide continues to shape the world today. Genocide often follows a pattern of dehumanization and objectification. Dehumanization means seeing or treating a group of people as less than human, as if they don't deserve empathy, rights, or dignity. Objectification happens when people are treated like things to be controlled, used, or exploited, instead of as individuals with feelings and agency. Sociologists explain that these attitudes don't start from individual hatred. Instead, they're built into the social structure of a society. Laws, media, education, false science, and political systems can all send messages about who is normal, superior, deserving, and who is not. Over time, these ideas shape how entire societies think, including the learning of harmful stereotypes, prejudicial beliefs, and discrimination. When people start to believe that another group is less than human, violence becomes possible, even expected. Once empathy is removed, discrimination, forced removal, or even genocide can be justified as necessary or deserved. People are seen as inferior, uncivilized, savages, less than. Understanding genocide from a sociological lens helps us recognize how the past continues to shape the systems and assumptions that organize daily life in the United States, and encourages us to notice, question, and think critically about these patterns in our own everyday experiences. And that makes sociology worth exploring further, don't you think? Thank you for watching. Be sure to comment below with your thoughts, questions, or any topics you'd like us to explore next. Let's keep the conversation going and our community growing. See you in the next Sociology Vibes video.